Well, there remains a lot of uncertainty about exactly how the vaccine passport system will work and how effective it will be. It's also a new responsibility and maybe even an additional cost for small businesses in this country who will have to police the passports at the door. Dan Kelly is the president of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. He joins me now from Surrey, British Columbia. Dan Kelly, good to see you again.
Happy to be with you.
Yeah, good to speak with you about these vaccine passports launched. They've now been launched in Ontario and Brunswick. They're already in place in Quebec. What have you been hearing from your members about their challenges in trying to implement these systems?
Well, look, small business owners are fairly split on whether there should be passports at all. Some businesses, of course, see that this is an opportunity to avoid lockdowns. Business owners would rather serve 80% of their customers rather than 0% with a full lockdown. But a lot of business owners have big concerns. About a third of our membership, I think, reject the idea on a point of principle that this is just a big intrusion into people's lives, into their responsibilities. But most have practical concerns and questions that have been unanswered
What are
from
those?
government.
What are those?
A lot of them are around employees. So you have an employee that, like a personal trainer, after their shift, are they allowed to? They're not vaccinated. Are they allowed after working all day? As there's no requirement for employees to be vaccinated, are they able to use the services in the gym in which they've spent the entire day? Can a restaurant worker who might be unvaccinated, we know that they can serve the plate 2 inches from your face, but they're not allowed to eat there, we don't believe, on their lunch break. A lot of practical questions about what will happen in the event of something going wrong. So an unvaccinated customer is unhappy about being turned away. The health minister originally said, call the police. The police then said, hey, wait a minute, don't do that. What does that 18 or 19-year-old host or hostess do? These are questions that business owners don't have great answers for right now, and certainly the provincial government hasn't been coming up with much.
Doug Ford said today, look, it was the Chamber of Commerce in Ontario and the Restaurant Association in Ontario that clamored for the vaccine passport system. He says he's doing this reluctantly on the advice of the health experts. So does the business community want these passports?
Well, our surveys of CFIB members, small business owners that are part of my association, were split, but the majority said no. They don't want that to happen for customers in their businesses. There was support for vaccine passports for international travel, perhaps for large events, but when it breaks down to small business activities, either for staff or for customers, most businesses are quite reluctant to become the vaccine police.
You seem to raise the issue of effectiveness this morning, if I can call up. You tweeted this morning as you waited for your flight to Vancouver about the check of your proof of vaccination and how that was done in the lounge in the airport and how it raised questions for you. What happened?
So, I'm going to the airport, went into the lounge to grab a cup of coffee, and as I walked in, they did dutifully check my my vaccine credential with my boarding pass. But I can tell you, it's this big. The woman glanced at it, and I suspect that that's what's happening in a lot of businesses right now, that this is only going to be at best loosely enforced because it's really hard to get this right. This is now we're a month away from having some form of QR code that businesses might have a little bit of help to use. But right now, a business is going to have to hire, in many cases, an additional staff person to do the screening, standing at the front of their business, putting their own life at risk to turn away somebody that might be quite unhappy about this, then have to screen their credentials, scanning and sorting through their phone. On top of that, if that person has a medical exemption, then they have to try to make out whether or not this doctor is legit. I don't know.
All right. Doug Ford also said today he'll listen to the health experts before lifting any capacity limits on businesses, even though the clients have to prove they're vaccinated, double vaccinated. Are you okay with that, or should the passports be in lockstep with, okay, if we're getting all these people got to show they're vaccinated, should we have more space in our businesses to be able to earn some of the money we've lost?
Yeah, look, I mean, we are now putting measures on top of measures on top of other measures. One would have thought that if they were putting in place the requirement that only vaccinated customers were able to enter their businesses altogether, that the capacity restrictions would be lifted. But Ontario is doing both. They have a 50% capacity restriction on movie theaters, on bowling alleys, arts and entertainment venues, and now everybody in there has to be fully vaccinated. I don't know, it feels like, think about this. A business that might have been closed for 400 days during the lockdown now is only allowed to serve up to 50% of their customers, and as of today has a 20% further drop in customers because they're not able to serve the unvaccinated. That's a lot without a nickel of new money, and the federal government ripping away the wage and the rent subsidy very, very soon.
All right, we'll continue to watch how this unfolds. Dan Kelly, good to get your perspective tonight. Thanks for taking time.
Anytime.